What's up, X-Men fans? Thank you so much for clicking on today's video and welcome back to another Living Lambo 3D printing build. For the second week in a row, we're gonna have another X-Men 97 build. In the last video, we built the Magneto helmet, and today, Cyclops' visor. Alright, if you've checked out my channel before, you know that the very first thing we have to do to the visor is eliminate the layer lines on it, but luckily for us, the Bamboo A1 is a beast of a machine, and this thing really does not have that bad of layer lines, so it should be pretty easy to get rid of them. We are, as always, going to be starting with the Ryobi mouse sander. An electric sander like this is going to make really quick work of this. And we're going to be starting with 120 grit sandpaper rather than 60 like we normally do, because this one is already so nice and smooth. Should be fairly easy. For areas that are a little bit harder to reach, like this area between the visor and the ear, you can use a sponge or just regular sandpaper and just easily really get in there. I really like these sponges because they're kind of flexible, so you can really bend them and kind of just really use your arm power to really make them do what you need to. We need to make sure we hit these little parts inside the visor right here really good. And if you checked out my Magneto helmet build, you know that I said I lost all my files, so I went pick up this little set off of Amazon. It was like 10 bucks. So now, instead of losing a bunch of files, I can lose one handle and then really be up shit creek. But now we're gonna use this nice little file set and get all up in here. Alright, the next thing we're going to do to get rid of the layer lines are we're going to mix Bondo with acetone. You don't need to mix these, but what the acetone does is it thins down the Bondo and it just makes it easier to apply, and it also dries faster. But we're going to mix 1-to-1 ratios in my little Bondo cup. Make sure you're wearing PPE like a mask when you do this, because well, I guess both of these are toxic, so make sure you're wearing a mask. But we're gonna go ahead and mix them. You're looking for like a paint-like consistency, I guess. And we're gonna start applying. And after you let the Bondo cure, you're gonna go back to the mouse sander and hit that really quick. All right, there were some spots that needed extra help, kind of like around the edges and around the ears and stuff like that. So that is gonna get straight Bondo. And then rather than 10 minutes, we have to give this about an hour. Since we didn't thin down the Bondo with the acetone, we did have to wait about an hour for the thicker one to dry and cure. But once that's over, just take 220 grit sandpaper, just like the Ryobi mouse sander, and just pass over it. You could use the mouse sander, I guess, but this will be quick regardless, so we'll just go ahead and knock this out real quick. To prime the visor, we're going to be using this Rust-Oleum 2-in-1 filler and sandable. It is an automotive primer, and from my experience, it is probably the best and most affordable and most readily available primer you can find. There are definitely some that are better, but I think this is like $6 a can, $7 a can, and you can get it at Walmart. So can't really beat that. But we're going to be doing a light coat on the visor waiting 5 or 10 minutes and then doing a heavy coat, and then waiting 30 minutes and then doing another heavy coat. And then we have to give this like 2 days to fully dry and cure, which that part's kind of a pain in the ass, but you gotta do what you gotta do. All right, now is where the real fun with the visor begins. We waited 2 days for this to dry and cure after we threw all that primer on it. But now we're gonna hit it with 180 grit sandpaper real quick, and we might run, you know, with like 220 and 400 just to clean it up a tiny bit more. But then after that, we're gonna throw 2 more coats of primer on it, but then we're only gonna wait 1 day to go ahead and wet sand it and paint it tomorrow. So let's knock out the 180 real quick, and then we can do the like really fun stuff. For the yellow on the visor, we're gonna be using this gloss Sunbeam by Krylon. I don't know if I wanna keep it gloss yet. I might put a matte clear coat over it, but we'll figure that out when we get there. But let's do this now. And the final piece of the build is the visor. These are red gel plastic sheets off of Amazon. I think they were like 10 of them for $10. I already made a couple visors out of this one, clearly. But typically they're the size of like a regular piece of printer paper. So pretty cheap, very flexible, and they make really good. The only thing is you can kind of see the eyes pretty good, but if you don't have real harsh lighting like I have right now, they work just fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this out, install it, and then y'all see the final product. Thank you guys so much for clicking on the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Next up, we're gonna have another Cyclops build. We're gonna get on to the Deadpool 3 Wolverine helmet, and then somewhere in there, we're also gonna have a Wolverine resin printed statue and a Cyclops resin printed statue. So a lot of exciting things coming to the channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and see you guys next time. Bye.